Hi, good morning. I'm Melissa Green, a technology accessibility specialist with the Center for Instructional Technology's accessibility team. The Center for Instructional Technology is a unit of the university's Office of Information Technology, and the technology accessibility team works to ensure that all technology users, including those with disabilities, have a functional and accessible technology experience with the university's websites and the technologies we use for teaching, learning, and administrative functions. You can find more information about our efforts on our website at accessibility.ua.edu. There are many accessibility problems that can be quickly and easily identified without the need for advanced web development knowledge or skills. This session covers basic web accessibility evaluation techniques using the WAVE accessibility evaluation tool, testing keyboard accessibility and content scaling, and manual checks for other common accessibility issues. Time allowing, we'll also watch a brief video demonstration of Accessibility Management Platform, or AMP, which is a comprehensive accessibility testing and reporting tool freely available to all members of the UA community. There's a URL on this slide for a shared box folder with links to websites I'll be accessing during the session. I'm also pasting that URL in the chat. When we offer this session in the classroom, it's hands-on and participants access the links along with me. You're welcome to do that if you can manage the multiple windows at once, but in a webinar setting, you might find it easier to watch this morning and then return to the bookmark sites later, perhaps as you watch or listen to the webinar recording. Just a quick moment for housekeeping. I've turned off the audio for everyone by default just to improve our audio quality. But when you want to talk, just select the microphone icon in the Zoom control bars to mute or unmute yourself. You can also choose to have your camera on or off, but please do mute your microphone when you're not speaking. When I'm talking or sharing my screen, please write in the chat box and let me know if you can't see or hear something. And you're welcome to use that chat box throughout. I may not be able to watch it closely while I'm talking, but I'll do my best to check in every once in a while. And if I don't see your question or comment immediately, don't worry, I will come back to it in the end. This session is being recorded. I'll send you a link to that recording via email in the next few days, along with links to resources shared during the session. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. So the first site we're going to access is the WAVE Web Accessibility Evaluation Tool at wave.webaim.org. One of our team's favorite sets of tools is the WAVE online web service and browser extensions. WAVE stands for Web Accessibility Evaluation Tool, and WAVE helps web developers and content creators make their content more accessible by providing visual feedback about its accessibility, by presenting your page with embedded icons and indicators. WAVE can't tell you if your web content is accessible, only a human can do that, but it can help you evaluate the accessibility of your web content and teach you a bit about accessibility along the way. I'm toggling over to another tab in my browser where I have the Accessible University demonstration site open. Accessible University is a fictional university. This is a fictional homepage. This page was designed by the University of Washington, and it demonstrates a variety of common web design problems that could result in visitors with disabilities being unable to access the content or features of a web page. We're going to use WAVE to evaluate this page. So to evaluate a page, you simply enter its address on the WAVE website, Or if you've installed the Wave Firefox or Chrome browser extensions, you can navigate to the page you want to check and select the Wave icon in your browser bar. I'm going to enter the address on the Wave website, so I'm copying it now. Returning to the Wave website, pasting the web page address into the field for that, and then I'm selecting the arrow key to submit that address. So Wave loads the Accessible University website um, and then brings the underlying accessibility information of that homepage to the forefront so we can evaluate it in context. So Wave is presenting the page with embedded icons and indicators, and each icon, box, and piece of information added by Wave presents some information about the accessibility of the page. You can view a brief overview of what each icon or indicator means by clicking on it, then selecting more information. I'm going to do that now with this red. Actually, you know what? I've loaded the accessible version of the page that doesn't have nearly as many errors. I'm going to repeat this process with the version of the page that has a lot of accessibility problems, just to give us more to work with. Here we go. Much better. Okay, well, not better, it's less accessible, but better for demonstration purposes. So one of the ways that you can explore this information is by navigating to each icon or indicator and clicking on it. So I'm going to do that now with this error next to the Accessible University logo, selecting this red error indicator. The error here is missing alternative text, which is explained as image alternative text is not present. When I select more information, relevant documentation for that error opens in the documentation panel in the left sidebar. And the documentation provides an explanation of that wave icon, what the error or alert means, why it matters, how to fix it, relevant standards and guidelines, and so on. So other information we can access in the left sidebar. And I'm moving from top to bottom in the far left of this left sidebar panel. Summary shows the total number of errors, alerts, features, structural elements, HTML5 and ARIA elements, and contrast errors on the page. So starting with errors, red is bad. If you see a red error indicator, there is almost certainly an accessibility issue. Alerts, yellow alert icons are things you should look at because they may cause accessibility or usability issues. Most yellow alert icons indicate likely issues. Features, green features icons are probably good. They're accessibility features, but you must determine if they're implemented appropriately. Blue structural element icons reveal the underlying structure and meaning of the web page. Purple HTML5 ARIA icons identify HTML5 structural elements or ARIA roles, states, or properties. So HTML5 structural elements are tags like article, aside, nav, and section that help people navigate your site. ARIA can be used to supplement HTML so that dynamic content and advanced web applications are accessible and usable to assistive technology users. It provides roles to describe the structure of the web pages, such as headings, regions, and tables, and properties to describe the state widgets are in, such as checked for a web box or has pop-up for a menu. Now, typically these are things that a website developer would be more concerned with rather than a content creator. So I'll just say that if you see purple, HTML5, and ARIA, that's likely good. It means something that's been done that enhances the accessibility of the web page. Finally, continuing in the list of things that Wave detects in the summary, contrast errors. This identifies low color contrast between foreground and background colors, which can be challenging for everyone, but especially users with low vision. So that's the summary. I'm next going to select Details, which is represented by a red flag icon. This shows a full listing of all of the wave icons on the page. You can filter these by accessibility guidelines or standard. I usually stick with full, but I'll show you the options here. You can filter to just show errors that are violations of the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0 AA, Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0A, or Section 508. The university's web resources accessibility policy specifies that our web content meet WCAG 2.0 AA. So you could filter your results just to that, but generally speaking, I like to leave it on full. Might as well be aware of all of the accessibility issues so you can address them fully. The next panel is the documentation panel. It's represented by a blue eye information icon, and it provides an explanation of the wave icons and how you can make your page more accessible. So what the error or alert means, why it matters, how to fix it, and so on. And this is what opened up when we selected more information. So you can access this in a couple different ways. You can do it sort of within the context of the page, selecting the icon or indicator and more information, or via the documentation panel in the left sidebar. Finally, the outline panel allows you to see the heading structure of the web page, so you can verify that headings are present and used correctly. We don't see anything on this inaccessible version of the page because headings are not present, and that's one of the accessibility problems with the page. So we've been looking at this page in Styles view. We can tell that because at the top of the left sidebar, Styles is in focus. The Styles view presents your page as it would appear to most visitors with embedded accessibility icons and indicators. If you can't see the icons well, or if Wave reports an error, but you're having trouble kind of finding it within the context of the page visually, you might switch to the No Styles view, which I just switched to now. The No Styles view displays your page with styles disabled and tables linearized. And this view presents the underlying reading and navigation order, which is the order in which a keyboard only or a screen reader user would access the page. So I'm typically using this because I am having trouble finding an error with styles turned on, or to assess the reading order of the page for an assistive technology user to see if it's logical, to see if it makes sense. The third view is contrast view, which I'm toggling to now. It shows only contrast issues on your page. So it removes all the other icons and indicators with the focus on color contrast. You can use the tools in the details panel to review your color contrast and even get updated colors that meet these guidelines. In addition to these views, styles, no styles, and contrast, there's a code tab at the bottom of the screen, which I'm going to select now. You can use that to view the underlying markup or web page code with the icons and indicators. And here, near the top is that Accessible University logo with missing alt text. So this view actually shows you where in the code there is an image with no alt attribute. So let's switch gears and now use Wave to examine the accessible version of the page. So I'm going to go to that now. This is the same web page where the accessibility issues have been addressed. I'm returning to Wave. I'm pasting in the address I want to evaluate. and reloading Wave. So we have significantly fewer errors, only one, and more features and structural elements that enhance accessibility. But what I really want to show you is this, the outline view. Using the outline view, we can now see the heading structure for the web page. And what we're looking for here is that headings are present and that they're used correctly in order, with heading 1 being the first heading on the page, heading 2 following that, heading 3 following heading 2. So I just wanted to show you that where something is actually present in outline view. That's the Wave Web Evaluation tool. This is the tool that I use in my role as a content creator. So accessibility team has a website. My colleague Kim is a web developer. She does the heavy lifting with the website. I create posts and pages. So Wave is a good fit for me because I can evaluate the accessibility of one page or post at a time. Let's switch gears and talk about navigating without a mouse. Possibly the quickest and easiest way to test your website's accessibility is to unplug your mouse or turn off your trackpad and use only your keyboard to interact with the site. We'll watch a brief video demonstrating why this is important.
Web accessibility. Perspectives. Keyboard compatibility. Not being able to use your computer because your mouse doesn't work is frustrating. Many people use only the keyboard to navigate websites, either through preference or circumstance. Whether it's temporarily limited mobility, a permanent physical disability, or simply a broken mouse, the result is the same. Websites and apps need to be operable by keyboard. Web accessibility. Essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives for more information on keyboard compatibility.
So people with physical disabilities who can't use the mouse, people who are blind and can't see the mouse pointer on the screen, people with chronic conditions such as repetitive stress injuries, who should limit or avoid use of the mouse, people with temporary limitations like a broken arm or a broken mouse. All of those users need to be able to access and use your site. Because of all of this, all web content should be accessible using the keyboard only. I'm going to return to the accessible version of that Accessible University demonstration site. To test keyboard navigability, you'll use the Tab key to navigate through links and forms, and the Enter key to perform an action. So Tab key to navigate forward, Enter to perform an action. You can also use Shift and Tab to go backwards. If in doing that, Tab key, Enter, Shift and Tab to go backwards, if you can't get to what you want, or if the cursor gets trapped and can't move, your page has an accessibility problem. So we're going to tab through this page, checking for several different issues. The first is when you tab to a link or menu item with the keyboard, it should be highlighted. It should receive visual focus, usually with a dashed outline or other visual focus indicator. If you don't see this outline, this is a serious issue. So I'm going to first do this on the accessible version of the page. So I'm in the browser bar currently. I'm hitting the Tab key. So I've selected the Tab key. Visual focus is now on the first item on the page, which is the link to show menu keyboard shortcuts. It's visually highlighted with a blue rectangular outline. So I've kind of already messed this up by using my mouse. I need to keep my hands off my mouse. Okay. First item on the page, highlighted. So I'm going to continue to tab through the content on the page. The next item that should be highlighted is the About tab of the menu, and it is. So when it is in focus, the color changes. So instead of having a light background with purple text, it now has a dark purple background with light colored text. Tab, I'm now on the Academics tab. Tab, I'm now on the Admissions tab. If I wanted to perform an action similar to a click on one of these tabs, I would use the Enter key, which I'm going to do now. That opens up the menu. To navigate between items in the menu, I would use the arrow key on my keyboard. So I'm hitting down arrow, down arrow, down arrow. So what we're looking for here is that when things are in focus on the tab key, there's also a visual focus as well, and that's present on this accessible version of the page. Visitors tab is now in focus. I'm hitting tab. The next link on the page to the Student Engineering Ward is now in focus. The back button of the carousel is in focus. The forward button of the carousel is in focus. The link to the first slide in the carousel is in focus. The link to the second slide in the carousel is in focus. The link to the third slide in the carousel is in focus, and so on. So that's what's referred to as a visual focus indicator. When you tab to a link or a menu item with the keyboard, something should happen to show you that it's the item in focus. Let me bring up the inaccessible version of that page just to sort of contrast that. So I'm in the browser bar right now. I'm hitting tab to move to the first item on the page. I don't see any sort of visual focus. I don't know where I am on the page. I'm hitting tab again, tab, no visual change, tab, no visual change, tab, no visual change, tab, no visual change. Now I can see, because I'm a visual user, down on the far bottom left of the screen, there's a URL in focus. It looks like I am somewhere in the carousel, the slide. The URL ends with ref equals slide 1. I'm going to hit tab again. I'm probably focused somewhere in this text on the page. Again, I don't see anything visually to tell me that. If I look down at the URL in the bottom left of the screen, it looks like what's in focus is a link that ends in issues.html. I'm a sighted user, so I can see that in the Can You Spot the Barriers section of the page, there's something that looks like a link to a list of issues. That's probably where I am. But again, I can only determine that because I have full use of my vision. So completely inaccessible, no way of knowing what is actually in focus. So you want to use your keyboard to check for that. If you don't see the outline, this is a pretty serious issue. This is a change that probably you as a content creator can't make, but you would want to check in with your webmaster or the person who manages your WordPress theme or template or otherwise has access to change the code to notify them that there's an issue with visual focus. Another thing you want to check for when you're using the keyboard to navigate your web page is you want to ensure that the keyboard navigation order is logical. So the order in which you tab through the page should basically match the visual reading order of the page, like header, sidebar, main content, footer, or header, main content, sidebar, footer, something that makes sense logically. And we did see this with the accessible version of the Accessible University site. So we first accessed a link that would let users using the keyboard skip to keyboard shortcuts, and then we accessed the various menu items. We accessed the content in the main body of the page, and then the content in the right sidebar. I'm just quickly tabbing through all of these things. The final thing we accessed was the content in the footer. So again, the reading order was logical. It didn't jump around between the various parts of the page. When checking for keyboard compatibility, you should also check to make sure there's nothing that works only with a mouse, like a navigation menu that only expands when the user hovers over it with a mouse and doesn't expand when someone hits the enter key on the keyboard. So if you have something on your site that you're accustomed to using a mouse to navigate, like a date picker, for example, or a form, see what happens if you try to navigate that same area with a keyboard. A keyboard user should be able to access all of the same content and perform all of the same functions as a mouse user. Another thing to check with that in mind is if you have pop-ups on your site or dialog boxes, ensuring that they can be closed using the keyboard, that they don't require a use of a mouse to close those. Some pages have a link at the beginning of the page that allows users to skip over top navigation to the main content on the page. I'm going to toot our own horn and switch over to our team's website. I really like how my colleague Kim has implemented this. So right now I'm at the accessibility.ua site in the browser bar. I'm going to hit tab to start to access the content on the page. So I did that, and a link appeared to a visual user in the top left corner of the screen. The link text is skipped to main content. With that link in focus, I'm going to hit enter. And when I do that, the focus shifts to the main content on the page. It skips that top level menu. And this is really important because we don't want a keyboard user to have to listen to or navigate through that repetitive content that usually occurs at the top of the page over and over again. We want to provide a mechanism for skipping directly to the main content. There's different ways of implementing this, different techniques for this. We saw Kim, what she had done here. So when you hit tab, the link appears, so it's hidden from visual focus until someone hits tab. We can see another approach to this on the top level ua.edu site. So there's no visual skip to main content link until we strike the tab key. And then again, that appears in the top left of the page, the link text being skipped to content. And then if one hits the enter key with that link in focus, one skips the main menu and is taken to the main content on the page. One skips the top menu and it's taken to the main content on the page. You want to check to make sure that you have a mechanism for this, ensuring that the screen sort of visually jumps over the navigation to the beginning of the page. If it jumps to the top of the page, or if the focus never moves from the top of the page in the first place, that skip link might be broken. And again, that's something to reach out to your sort of code person for in order to fix. We've already talked about if any boxes pop open on your slideshows, date pickers, warnings, making sure you can navigate and close those boxes with a keyboard. The escape key should close those boxes as well. Next, we'll test content by scaling and zooming a page, or we'll test content scaling by zooming a page and enlarging text. Some users with visual disabilities enlarge page content for readability, but enlarging content on a page can sometimes cause layout problems. So I'm going to return to the accessibility team website to illustrate this. To make content larger in a browser, keyboard users would typically use a combination of the control key and the plus key. So I'm going to do that now. I'm on a Windows. I'm using control and plus to zoom or increase the size of the content on the page. So I'm holding down the control key, hitting plus, 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 plus. So I've now zoomed the content on the page to 200%. I'm on a Windows machine, so I'm using control. That would be command on a Mac. Plus makes the content bigger. Minus makes the content smaller, so I'm going to do that again. Control, minus, minus, minus. So I've taken it down to 125% zoom. I'm going to take it back up to 200. Control, plus, plus, plus. So what we're looking for is to make sure everything is readable after zooming the page several times, especially any images of text. We should avoid images of text to begin with, but if they are present, we want to make sure that they scale well. So we're looking to make sure things have resized okay, they're still readable. You know, this looks really good to me. And we have a nice responsive design on this website, which is a factor in how the page layout changes when we are zooming as well. So things have resized nicely here. Note that it's okay if additional scroll bar appears at the bottom of the page when you zoom. So after increasing the zoom level to 200, we got a horizontal scroll bar at the bottom of the page. That's fine. What we're really looking for is just that things resize nicely. So this is a quick check that you can do on your own site. You know, make sure things don't get blurry, make sure the layout is okay when you increase the zoom level. I suggest increasing it up to 200%. Another keyboard shortcut that you might find handy when you're doing this testing is Control and the number 0, which will take the zoom level back to normal. Other recommendations to help you detect accessibility issues. You'll want to check any videos on your site for the presence of captions. Not only whether captions are present, but if the captions that are present are automatic captions, or if they're captions that have been supplied by the person who uploaded the video. We'll take a look at how you can tell the difference here. I'm going to the blog portion of our website and finding a post with some embedded video. So this is a blog post that we posted and embedded a video that was made by some honors college students. So if you were doing a check on your website to see that all the videos have captions and that the captions aren't automatic captions, you might go about it this way. So I'm selecting the video. I'm going to whoa, that's loud. I'm going to pause it just so we don't have to listen to the audio. So one thing, the close captions button is present. The ability to turn on and off closed captions is present. If we select the settings gear, and I'm showing this with the YouTube video, but the process is very similar for Vimeo and other players. Select the settings gear, and then select subtitles /CC for closed captions. We can see that the language is English. It does not say English auto-generated. That way we know that someone has actually provided a caption track for this video. So you want to look for the CC to tell you that captions are there, and you want to make sure that the caption track that's been provided does not say automatic or auto-generated. Automatic captions are not sufficient for accessibility because they're not accurate enough. Automatic captioning is getting more accurate, but the technology that does that has trouble with some important nuances of speech. It'll miss things like the prefix un. So for example, unfiltered versus filtered, or words like not that can change the meaning, in addition to just confusing words altogether. So automatic captions are an okay start. You can use auto captioning to generate a caption track, but you need to edit it for accessibility. So first we check to make sure that the captions are present and are not auto-generated. Other things you might look for: do the captions seem in sync with the spoken content? Do they identify the people who are speaking when they speak? Do they include important sounds other than the dialogue, like footsteps approaching, doors closing, glass breaking, if that's important to the understanding of the content? You might also check for the presence of a transcript. While not always required, it is good practice to include both captions and transcripts. Transcripts should be easy to find. Look for a text transcript on the page where the video is found, or a link close to the video player that goes to a transcript. So another sort of quick check you can do as a content creator is looking at links with the generic link text, such as click here or more info. And these types of links can be confusing to screen reader users and should be replaced with more descriptive link text. The set of accessible university sites provides a good example of this. Um, in this Can You Spot the Barriers section, the text reads, there are at least 18 accessibility issues on this page. To see a list of all known issues, click here. To see a more accessible version of this same page, click here. For a cheat sheet of accessibility issues, click here. So in this case, the link text is generic. In all three instances, the link text reads, click here. A screen reader user would likely encounter these links by using the tab key to bring them each into focus, or by using a keyboard shortcut to generate a list of all the links on the page. So when the link text is not distinct, a screen reader user is going to hear something like link, click here, link, click here, link, click here. So when you're writing your link text, you want to write it in such a way that if someone encountered the link text sort of divorced from or removed from any of the surrounding context, they would know what the destination of the link is, what clicking on the link would do. Let's look at the accessible version of the page. So on this version, the link text is more descriptive. It reads, details about all our known issues are on the list of issues page. To see the original issues, consult the inaccessible version. See also our cheat sheet of accessibility issues. So a screen reader user tabbing through the content or navigating a list of links would hear something like link, list of issues, link, inaccessible version, link, cheat sheet of accessibility issues. And that's much more useful, much more usable, much more accessible than link, click here. So look for generic link text. Again, you're going to have those links in the body of your page. That can also sometimes occur within menus. You might also check the page title, so the text that appears in the browser tab, and make sure that it is unique and descriptive, that all of the pages on your website have different titles. So many browsers display the page title in the window title bar by default. So here in Chrome, that is being displayed by default. I can see it in the browser tab. It reads Accessible University Demo Site. If I hover my mouse over it, I get the full title, Accessible University Demo Site, Accessible Version. If your browser doesn't have a title bar, you can do the hover over the browser tab to see the full page title. Or you could display the Add Bookmark dialog box, which includes the title. So you could select the option to bookmark the page, and that'll show you the page's title. So I'm going to do that, pretend that I don't have this page bookmarked already. In the Edit Bookmark dialog, I see the name of the page, and that's Accessible University Demo Site, Accessible Version. I'm going to switch to the accessibility website just to see if we have distinctive titles for each page. So this is the About Accessibility Initiative page. Hovering my mouse over it, the page title is Web Accessibility Initiative. This is the resources page. Hovering my mouse, resources is the title. Vendor information page, vendor is the title. So we're doing a good job of having unique names for each page. So we talked about basic web accessibility evaluation techniques that don't require development knowledge or skills to apply. All members of the UA community also have access to the Accessibility Management Platform, or AMP tool, which is a comprehensive accessibility testing and reporting tool. Let's take a look at how that tool works, keeping in mind that it is sometimes a better fit for folks who are more advanced in their development knowledge or skills.
AMP provides a user-friendly solution for managing all digital accessibility initiatives across an organization to meet compliance needs. Intuitive and friendly dashboards mean you can get the overview you need to quickly gauge compliance with all the details there for you when you need to dig in. It's a web-based platform that pairs the most powerful accessibility testing engine with a streamlined workflow to make all digital accessibility efforts more efficient. AMP ensures organizations have the infrastructure to rapidly conform to accessibility standards in the most cost-effective fashion. Save time with AMP's swift and straightforward testing. You can focus tests on what you need to evaluate, whatever it is. If you can load something into a browser, AMP can test it. AMP also provides the support to track and maintain compliance over time with thorough and personalized reporting. AMP's library of best practices and training courses allow organizations to integrate accessibility knowledge into existing development processes. Users can manage accessibility efforts across different organizational assets and generate reports with a wide variety of options and formats. These reports allow organizations to document current accessibility status and compliance rates and create a prioritized project plan for addressing issues. Organizational accessibility initiatives demand comprehensive reports that are tailored to specific roles. AMP provides code-level explanations, examples, and guidance around any issues found in detailed and sortable reports. Reports give you a number of views, including standards-based compliance levels, best practices for identified violations, affected pages, and violation priorities. Digital accessibility can seem complicated, but AMP offers the details and tools you need in an understandable and friendly way.
So that's the AMP tool. It's freely available to all members of the UA community. If you're interested in exploring AMP for web accessibility evaluation, we do have information about that on our website. You can search for it, or there's a link under the resources section of the site, AMP resources, also accessibility tools. We have some information about AMP as well. So that's all I have. We are here to help. The way to get in touch with us, should you require assistance with your web accessibility evaluation, feel free to visit our website at accessibility.ua.edu. You can email us at accessibility@ua.edu. You're also welcome to reach out to me